In 2022, Jeremy Allen White was a name most people couldn't place. By 2026, he's carrying a Star Wars film, an Aaron Sorkin sequel, an A24 thriller, and a Bruce Springsteen biopic simultaneously. No superhero origin story, no franchise launching pad, no industry machinery grooming him for his moment. Just a Brooklyn kid who built so quietly, so deliberately, but by the time the world looked up, he was already at the top. This is how that happened. Jeremy Allen White was born February 17, 1991, in Carroll Gardens, Brooklyn. His parents were both former stage actors, which means he grew up in a household where performances wasn't glamorous, it was just work. That distinction matters. Before he ever stepped in front of a camera, Jeremy was a dancer, ballet, jazz, and tap throughout elementary school. Disciplined, physical, precise. At 13, he made a deliberate decision to switch to acting, enrolling at the Professional Performing Arts School in Manhattan. That foundation is movement. The body awareness, the physical commitment, never left him. You can see it in every role he has played since. His early film career was exactly what you would expect from a serious young actor who was not chasing fame. Indie films that premiered at Venice and Cannes, small parts, character work, the kind of credits that do not make you famous but teach you everything. Then, in 2011, at 20 years old, he landed Shameless. For 11th season on Showtime's Shameless, Jeremy played Philip Lip Galagla, the brilliant, self-destructive eldest son of a chaotic Chicago family. The role was not a star-making vehicle in the traditional sense. It was not designed to make him a household name, but what it gave him was something more valuable: a decade of reps, 11 seasons, hundreds of hours of screen time, a character with genuine psychological depth that he returned to year after year as he matured as an actor. By the time being Shameless ended in 2021, Jeremy Allen White had quietly become one of the most technically skilled actors in American television. The industry knew it, the wider public did not. Yet, that was about to change. In 2022, FX released The Bear. On the surface, it looked like a niche proposition, a psychological drama set inside a struggling Chicago sandwich shop, not exactly the premise that announces a cultural phenomenon, but Jeremy's performance as Cami Berezato, was something different, raw, relentlessly internal. The kind of acting where you are not watching someone perform emotional, you are watching someone contain it. Barely. Variety called his work the vibrating center of the show. The Guardian called it career-making. NPR called it searing. The audience response was something the industry had not quite seen before. People did not just watch The Bear, they evangelized it. Clips circulated obsessively, and Jeremy, without doing anything particularly calculated, became the focal point of a very specific cultural conversation. What does authentic and polished masculinity actually look like on screen? The award followed in a wave: 3 consecutive Golden Globes, 2 Emmy Awards, 3 Screen Actors Guild Awards, 2 Critics' Choice Awards. Then came Calvin Klein. The campaign did not just trend, it generated $12.7 million in media impact, value within 48 hours of launch. Jeremy Allen White, the actor who had quietly turned down a Marvel meeting because the terms did not sit right with him, had become a cultural moment without ever chasing one. His net worth at this point sits at an estimated $10 million, built not on a single franchise deal, but on the compound interest of serious, consistent work across 15 years. Here is what Jeremy White Allen story diverges sharply from the typical breakout actors. Most actors in his position would sign with a franchise and consolidate. Jeremy went the other direction entirely. In 2023, while the Bear was remaking his career, he played Kerry Von Erich, the Iron Claw, alongside Zac Efron, a physically demanding, emotional, devastating performance in a film about one of a professional wrestling's most tragic families. It was the opposite of playing it safe. Then, in 2025, he portrayed Bruce in Deliver Me From Nowhere, a biographical drama about the creation Nebraska album. The performance earned him a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actors in a Motion Picture Drama. A television actor had crossed over into a prestige film on his own terms, and the industry took notice. In 2026, the scope of what he's building becomes clear. He's voicing Rota the Hutt in The Mandalorian, The Grogu, a Star Wars film he took specifically because he had never done voice work and wanted to make something his daughters would actually watch. He's starring opposite Austin Butler in Enemies, an A24 thriller, and is co-starring with Jeremy Strong in The Social Reckoning, Aaron Sorkin's sequel to The Social Network. 3 wildly different projects, 3 wildly different registers, all in the same year. This is a line Jeremy Allen White said in a British GQ interview that explains everything about he operates. When a meeting for a Marvel-style project went sideways, he did not apologize for it. He said he played in the best way he wanted to play it and moved on. This is the through line of his entire story. A man who trained in dance before acting, who spent 11 seasons on a cable drama before the world knew his name, who turned down franchise security because it did not feel right, who let a Calvin Klein campaign go viral without manufacturing the moment, who is now at 35 years old, simultaneously in a Star Wars films, an Aaron Sorkin film, and an A24 thriller, while still carrying the bear on his back. Jeremy Allen White did not become famous, he became undeniable, and in this industry, this is much a harder thing to do.